After leaving Bhairavi Mata, I continued my journey and now found myself wandering through the remote regions of the Himalayas. Whenever darkness fell near a village, I stayed there for the night and resumed my journey the next morning. Before reaching the region known as Sahajashram, I had many strange experiences. Writing about all of them would be useless, but I must tell you about Trijta Aghori. My meeting with Trijta Aghori happened in a strange way. At that time, I was unwell and staying in a village, receiving treatment from the local physician. I had not revealed anything about myself to him. Gradually, my health began to improve. I loved walking in the mornings. Even now, I do. One morning, after completing my bath and prayers, I decided to visit a temple on a hill outside the village. The path was rough and slippery. As I climbed, I began to feel weak and tired. Yet, my desire to see the temple kept pushing me forward. The temple was in a lonely place, about 3 or 4 miles from the village. When I finally reached the top, exhaustion overcame me. The doctor had advised me not to walk far, and I had ignored his words. My vision blurred, and as I neared the temple, I fainted. I don't know how long I was unconscious. When I regained awareness and opened my eyes, the sight before me made me scream aloud. The person standing there was Trijta Aghori. Terrifying in appearance, dark-skinned, his body covered in long hair, the hair on his head braided into 3 plaits like a woman's. A large vermilion mark on his forehead, eyes red and fierce, short arms, and a strip of animal skin tied around his waist. His very presence could make anyone tremble in fear. That was Trijta Aghori. I realized my situation and felt regret. I should have asked the villagers before coming here. But what was the use now? Fate had brought me here. I had to face whatever awaited me. I gathered courage, stood up, and entered the temple courtyard. It was a Bhairava temple. A large and fierce idol of Lord Bhairava stood before me. I turned my mind away from Trijta Aghori and sat down in the Padmasana posture. From my lips, a hymn in praise of Bhairava began to flow. I closed my eyes and continued the recitation. When I finished and opened my eyes, Trijta Aghori was standing right beside me, his red eyes blazing like fire, his face filled with rage. How dare you? You chant Bhairav as him wearing such impure clothes, you outcast. He roared, hurling abuses without pause. I tried my best to stay calm, not because I was afraid, but because I knew fear served no purpose. The initial fear I felt when I first saw him was gone. Now, I was fearless. What could this Aghori do? Perhaps he had the power to kill, but I too was not a helpless man of clay. I stood up while he continued shouting, trying to provoke me. He wanted me to lose my temper. In Tantra, provoking anger in the opponent is often essential. It awakens the reaction through which energy is released. But when a person remains without anger, the tantric magic loses all effect. Against one who is calm and without wrath, no spell can work. I already knew many secrets of the tantric path. I may mention this before, but I had no interest in using tantra to corrupt the purity of mantra. I kept trying to remain peaceful. Yet, for one who knows the reality, anger is natural when attacked unfairly. Slowly, I too began to feel a wave of anger rise within me. It was a strange situation. The more calmly I stood, the more furious he became. His lips moved. The curses stopped. He had begun a Stambhana Prayoga, a paralyzing spell. This spell renders the target motionless, helpless, a slave to the practitioner as well. The victim loses the power of thought. Trijta Aghori was performing this on me now. Dhoom 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 dhurjate. Khum khum kham kshohini tram 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 trasa santrasya bhram 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 brahma bhogini brahmarambaram. For 2 or 3 minutes, I observed his wicked attempt. Then I decided to counter it. I began the Shatrumukha Stambhana Prayoga, the enemy mouth paralysis spell. In Tantra, this is a powerful counter technique. Once it takes effect, the opponent's mouth remains open and cannot close until the spell is withdrawn. With the mouth fixed open, he cannot chant mantras, cannot speak, only meaningless sounds emerge, and he cannot even eat. Such a spell should be used only in extreme circumstances, never lightly. After that incident, I had to use it only once more in my life, many years later, in Ahmedabad, against the Tantric Shaktinath, who had tried to kill me using a death spell. For 24 hours he remained frozen, his mouth agape, until he confessed his mistake in writing, with tears in his eyes. Then, at the request of Raghumai Jhaveri and Janbhai, I released him. Before that, Shaktinath had caused much trouble to the local people. In my whole life, I have used such spells only twice, both times when there was no other choice. Otherwise, I avoid tantric practices altogether. But let us return to Trijta. As soon as my Shatrumukha Stambhana took effect, Trijta's chanting stopped. His eyes widened in shock. His anger melted away like camphor, replaced by sadness. Yet he too was powerful. He quickly reversed my spell through mental counteraction, freeing himself. A flash of power crossed his face. He grabbed me as easily as lifting a doll, spun me around 2 or 3 times, and threw me to the ground. That was how I first met Trijta Aghori. It was our first encounter, a display of strength between two practitioners. After that, a deep friendship grew between us. I stayed with him at that Bhairava temple for about 25 days. He became my guide, in truth, my guru in tantric practice. Even today, in the field of tantra, I regard him as my guru. Without doubt, he was a man of immense power. With a calm heart, Trijta Aghori trained me deeply in tantric disciplines. For those 25 days, neither of us slept. He used Nidra Stambhana, sleep-blocking practice, so that we could stay awake and continue. We were immersed entirely in tantric sadhana. He taught me Vashikaran, enchantment, Mohana, fascination, Akarshana, attraction, Uchtana, banishment, Kalika Chetka, Shatru Stambhana, Gati Stambhana, Kshudha Stambhana, hunger control, Dashavarahi Vashikaran, Vartali Stambhana, Ichha Prapti, wish fulfillment, and many other practices, along with spells involving Yakshas, Uchishta Chandalis, Karnavati, Smashna Yakshini, and other occult beings. He made me practice each one before him, tested me, and was satisfied. In the arts of Vashikaran, Akarshana, and Uchtana, his knowledge was as vast as Kuber's treasure. He shared it freely, without greed, and I accepted it without hesitation. Trijta Aghori was truly like a child, hard and fierce on the outside, yet soft and loving within. As far as I know, he is still alive. Through Shramya Prayoga, psychic communication, we spoke many times afterward. Though I never again had the chance to visit him in person, time did not permit. I still hold deep affection and gratitude for him in my heart. His warmth, his way of teaching, his generosity, they remain priceless treasures of my life. When I was leaving, he tried hard to stop me, not through tantric means, but with affection and friendship. Yet I knew that this was not my final goal. It was only a step along the way. I had no desire to remain in the world of Tantra. But once knowledge has been received, what sense is there in discarding it? One day, with a heavy heart, I departed. At the time of farewell, Trijta Aghori gave me a sacred object, the Ratiraja Ghotika. Its power cannot be described here, nor would it be right to do so. Only a few true tantrics possess such a Ghotika. Only those deeply versed in Tantra Vidya can understand the greatness and potency of the Ratiraja Ghotika.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon for notifications. If you liked the video, please press like button and share it with your friends. Thank you.